Are you focused on courses or are you focused on community? Let's chat. Hello, you beautiful human you. What are we talking about today? A way to get your folks actually consuming your classroom content in a rather unconventional way, especially if you are building in a community-centric model. Because we've all seen the posts asking about how do we get more engagement? How do we get people to actually consume the stuff that we have in our classroom? And so I'm making this video just for you to chat all about what I've been trying out for the last 3 or 4 months in various capacities, in case it's helpful for you and it's something that you want to try out for your space. Here I am in my tiny bubble. So let's make me a little bit smaller. And this is my school community, and I want to talk about a different way to work with your classroom, because like I just mentioned a few moments ago, a lot of folks had issues getting people to go through the classroom and consume the content and get the results that we all know that they could get if they actually went through the content and took action on it. So let's start where I started at. So a year ago, I did have the Start Here module. It's still there. I had a module here all around making your school magnetic. And then here was recordings from our masterminds that we were doing, the call recordings. This was a level 5 unlock. This was a level 3 unlock. And I only kept the latest 3 recordings in this module to provide a sense of urgency for folks if they couldn't make a live call, that they needed to make it a priority if they wanted to watch the recording before the new one got posted and the oldest one got deleted from this module. Then these are semi-new. They've been here about 5 months. One-time purchases, and then the level 7 unlock was a free month of my low-ticket offer. So about 5 months ago, I decided to try something different with my recordings. Instead of having a module here, I actually came to the community and made a recordings tab. And I started putting all of the recordings from the calls in underneath this category. It's a category that only I can post in. Folks can comment on the posts that I make, but I'm the only one that can post in this category. So I noticed that folks were actually consuming the content more and asking questions and leaving comments on these when I started posting them into the community, which then got my neurospicy brain thinking about something else. What was I thinking about? My neurospicy brain had an interesting idea. What if I moved my school module out of the classroom and into the community under its own category tab? So that's what I did. And I made each page in the module a different post, and then I made a hyperlink because folks that are coming from off platform typically are on their mobile phones. So this gives them a way to easily hop to the next step, because if they're just coming to the category, it may be all jumbled. They don't stay in order. So they hit this button and it takes them to the next step. They can watch this video. Here's the next hyperlink for the next step, and so on and so forth. And just like with the recordings, because I had this module for about 8 months before, well, almost closer to a year before I moved it. And I've had folks that have been in this group for months and had never either gone through the content and or they had never commented on the pinned posts that I made in the community and then pinned to the page in the module. I never saw them come back up in the community feed. Whereas as soon as I put it in the community, folks started commenting and asking questions and sharing their experience and their feedback, which is freaking amazing. Like, I would much rather this rather than have the content sitting in here that nobody actually goes through. So then that begs the question, what exactly do I put into the classroom? I obviously recommend a Start Here module that's mobile friendly. And then what replaced the module for school is a tool. How did I create the tool? I had run a challenge a couple of months ago and created the tool specifically based on the repetitive questions and things that I needed to ask people going through that challenge that got them to the desired result. I built a tool that incorporates that, so it helps them get to that desired result without me. And so this tool it's just one page in here. It's got the link. It explains what it is and how to get started with it. And then there is a pinned post here that is like the last comment. Somebody played around with it 18 hours ago, so last night. And folks are loving it. Folks are loving this tool. They're actually using it. So that's here. And then I've got a one-time purchase here and here, and this is a level 7 unlock. I no longer have a level 5 unlock, which then leads to the next question. If there's all of this stuff in the categories, how do people know how to get to each thing? Because we've got recordings, the challenge is here, it's not in the classroom, and then this module that I moved out of the classroom. Guess what? It's in my Start Here flow, right here under Choose Your Own Adventure. Here's past mastermind recordings, the challenge, here's the school-centric stuff, here's the tool, and then About Page Rose, this is a link to the calendar because we have a monthly call for that, and this one is for the one-time purchase. So there is no pitch here. The closest I get to a pitch is this one-time purchase in here. But this gives them a roadmap. I do want to add a video eventually or an image or something to make this a little prettier looking. But for now, it works. And they know where to go so that they can figure out which part that they want. And they can start right there, all on their own. Okay, so I don't want to do you dirty. There are 2 caveats that you might want to consider when you are looking into trying to play around with this. The first one is, you see this progress bar? So if someone completes a page, so like this page that has a video on it, it auto checks once they watch it 90% of the way through. If it's something like this, where it's just text or a static image, folks have to click this, but you can see when it's not clicked, it's only, this module is only 75%. When it's clicked, it's 100%. So if this bar, like this progress tracker thing, is really important to your folks or to you, then maybe this solution isn't worth testing. However, one creative way to work around that, they won't have the progress bar, and this may be something that I need to add in to my Start Here flow or the beginning post for each section for the category, is as you go, just make sure you hit the like button. Because if you hit the like button, it'll show if you come back to it and you can be like, oh, I've already done that step, so I'm ready for the next. And then they can just hit this and then hop to the next step if they aren't easily finding it in the category that it's in. The other caveat that I want to mention is that if you don't have these things, like if you've put them in a category in the community instead of in the classroom, you cannot put them as a level unlock. So I used to have recordings as a level 5 unlock, and it's not here anymore because I put them in the community. It's still like the tool's still there, the free month trial, like those are still there. But if it's leaderboard heavy, you may want to consider if that's what you want to do or not. If you want to put those kind of rewards behind there, or you want to figure out something else, like a tangible something or something else that your people might want. I can't see folks getting really upset that you've taken modules out of the classroom and you've put them in the community under a category, because then it just makes it easier for them to have access if it's not locked behind a level. And I will tell you that the amount of interaction and engagement that I've had as a result from moving the stuff from the classroom to the community far outweighs anything that was happening when I had those things behind a level. And I know your brain might be going, well, how do I, like, what if they don't engage? How do I motivate them to get to the next level? And I want you to challenge that. It's worth testing out. And you might just be surprised, because our brains are really good at what if about all the bad things, but they're not real great about what if it works, or what if it works even better than I could have even imagined. So that's why I'm always a big proponent of testing things out and trying them and seeing how it goes, and then decide for yourself after that. If you are in the camp of still trying to put all of your stuff in your classroom, the value, I want to challenge you to figure out how to make it simple, how to simplify it, and actually put more of your stuff into the community tab, especially if what you're building is more of a community-centric model, something like that. Sometimes English is hard, because the more that you can put in here, then the more that your engagement goes up, and the more that people actually interact in the community. And so then you get more folks that are higher levels, and you don't have a huge pot of people on level 1 that never chime in and never join in. And so, yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Everybody has their own different way of doing things. And if the classroom and modules are working well for you, then have at it. Like, that's the beauty of school, is that every one of us is different and we all can do things a different way, and what works for us may not work for somebody else, or maybe it does. So that's why I'm here sharing with you, in case you've been trying to figure out how to get your folks actually completing your classroom stuff, because you know it's important, but they're just not making it over into the classroom tab. Or you're just starting your school and you want to make it more of a community type deal over somewhere where it's just come consume classroom content and things like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your goal and that's your vibe, hats off to you. Like, that's freaking amazing. And there's room enough for all of us in this space. That's one of the beautiful things about school. I love that there are so many different ways to do different things, and we're all here sharing what works for us. So that way, if it's helpful for somebody else, they can take it and run with it and try it and see how it works for them as well. So that's it for my spiel today. I hope this was helpful. If you have questions or something wasn't clear, because sometimes my neurospicy does this weird thing where I think I'm making sense, but I'm not really landing right. So if you have questions or need clarification, drop them in the comments, and I look forward to chatting more with you. And I hope you have a freaking